Thrilled to welcome Symphony 3 to the Local Government News Roundup family. If you're a local council, you know how challenging it can be to manage data across all your different systems. That's where Symphony 3 comes in. They've developed Smart Glue, a platform that integrates over 55 council systems, automating data flow without the need for manual work. It turns confusion into simplicity. With Smart Glue, councils save time, reduce errors and empower staff to focus on what really matters. Their clients see a real difference, up to 20% boost in productivity, with savings of over $30,000 per integration every year. Symphony 3 helps councils work smarter, faster and more efficiently, all while better supporting the communities they serve. Banned from council premises. Whittlesea's mayoral crisis deepens. Safety concerns force another council to meet online. Hepburn Shire to apply for a higher rate cap. Yarra lifts e-scooter fees by 400%. A CEO resigns after an extraordinary council meeting. A councillor censured for comments on social media. A new partnership agreement for state and local government in Queensland. And Adelaide campaigns for 50-cent bus fares. Hello, I'm Chris Eddy. That's all ahead on the Local Government News Roundup. Also today, critics take aim at the UK government's new planning laws. The Roundup is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. The Mayor of Whittlesea, Aidan McClendon, has reportedly been banned from attending council premises and must participate in meetings remotely due to allegations of aggressive behaviour and intimidating conduct towards staff and councillors. The Herald Sun and The Age refer to confidential letters in which Council CEO Craig Lloyd cites concerns about staff safety, intimidation of councillors and alleged leaking of confidential information. Councillor McClendon denies the allegations, telling 7 News that he's the people's mayor and he's not going anywhere. His lawyer describes the situation as insanity and argues the imposition of the ban lacks natural justice and procedural fairness. It's understood the restrictions are in place until March the 24th, when they will be reviewed. 2 municipal monitors are currently in place at Whittlesea, and Local Government Minister Nick Stakos told The Age that he was awaiting a report from them. Another Melbourne council is moving its latest meeting online over safety concerns. Casey Mayor Stephen Cooman announced that the March meeting will be held online on advice from Victoria Police. He said after disruptions to the February meeting, which saw the meeting adjourned and police called, individuals were again planning to disrupt the March meeting. The council says police are continuing to investigate a small group of people continuing to use threatening and violent language online toward council and councillors. Earlier this week, Greater Dandenong Council conducted its meeting in a hybrid online format, with about half of the councillors choosing to participate from home, according to the Star Journal. The decision to hold that meeting online was also due to safety concerns after threats of violence were made online over a contentious renaming proposal. Hepburn Shire Council will seek approval for a significant rate increase to shore up its financial position. The council will ask the Essential Services Commission to approve a 10% rate increase next financial year, 7% above the state-mandated cap. Mayor Don Henderson says the average impact would be $2.20 per property per week, generating $1.36 million for essential services. The council has implemented $1.5 million in operational savings, but CEO Bradley Thomas told me much more needs to be done to shore up the council's financial position.
But ultimately, we need to find $4 million a year going forward over the 10 years to be financially sustainable. And $4 million really in the context of about a $45 million budget, so quite significant. We've had to make some really significant decisions around service delivery. So yeah, on top of about the 1.3 million that we would generate from the rate cap if successful, we're looking at 2.6 million of permanent ongoing operational services. There'll be some unpopular decisions made, I've got no doubt about that. But ultimately, we've got to find this funding to make sure that we're sustainable as an organisation going forward.
Mr Thomas said there's been some swift reaction from parts of the community since the announcement earlier this week.
The last 24 hours, absolutely, there's been, as we'd expect, some commentary on social media, some upset at the rate rise. Is this due to mismanagement? Why are we doing this now? Whole range of comments. We understand that and accept that, and that's part of being community facing and some parts of the social media. And we hope that as people understand the history and where we are currently and what we want to do going forward, people will understand a little bit more about the process.
Hepburn joins Alpine Shire as the second council known to be seeking a higher rate cap this year. The Commission is expected to release its decision by late April. And tune in to the upcoming episode of VLGA Connect, due out on YouTube and podcast later today, for my full interview with Bradley Thomas, CEO of Hepburn Shire Council. The City of Yarra has voted to increase daily permit fees for e-scooter companies by 400%. Under the new scheme, companies like Lime and Neuron will see their per-scooter fees jump from $1 to $5 daily as the council moves to turn a loss-making trial into a revenue-positive venture. Mayor Stephen Jolly said Yarra ratepayers should not have to pick up the tab for two very large and profitable multinational companies. ABC News reported that Neuron has responded, claiming the council's move threatens the program's future and insisting they're not turning a profit in the area. The council has since announced an enforcement blitz looking to remove e-scooters and e-bikes that are inappropriately parked across footpaths. Mayor Jolly said community members can report issues directly to the providers, who are required to resolve dangerous obstructions or accessibility issues within 2 hours. Also making news this week, the state government has released new designs for the Newport Level Crossing Removal project, maintaining its decision to close Champion Road to vehicles despite fierce community opposition. Hobsons Bay Mayor Daria Callender said the decision was upsetting and disappointing, and the council will continue to advocate to keep the vital thoroughfare open. 5 southeast Victorian councils, including Mornington Peninsula and Bass Coast Shires, have formed a working group to address high drowning rates in their regions. There were 54 drownings on the Mornington Peninsula in the 10 years to 2024, 9 times the Victorian average. Casey, Cardinia and Greater Dandenong are also part of the project. And Golden Plains Shire Council has appointed Stephen Sagona as its new interim CEO. Mr Sagona brings 30 years of local government experience to the role, including previous roles at Golden Plains and most recently at Hobsons Bay. It's understood the appointment is for 6 months and he's set to begin the role on the 26th of March. Some council news briefs. Nillumbik and Merribeck councils have co-hosted a Northlink Northern Business Achievement Awards event. Each of the member councils, Banyule, Darebin, Hume, Merribeck, Nillumbik and Whittlesea, nominate 2 outstanding small businesses for recognition, with winners to be announced at a final ceremony in December. The City of Greater Geelong and Deakin University are partnering to showcase Geelong's growing prominence as a key hub for defence, aerospace and aviation industries as part of the upcoming Avalon Air Show and Aerospace and Defence Exposition. And the City of Burundara will next month host a special event to celebrate the centenarians in its community. It will be the 22nd annual such event and the 20th time that TV and radio personality Pete Smith has hosted the event. You're listening to the Friday edition of the Local Government News Roundup. It's the 14th of March. It's episode number 439, brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, your councillor support network, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. Moving into New South Wales, and Port Macquarie Hastings Council CEO Dr Claire Allen has announced her resignation, effective the 21st of March. Dr Allen, who's led the council for 4.5 years, will step down ahead of her contract's conclusion in January next year. The resignation came as a surprise after an extraordinary meeting of the council called to discuss a personnel matter. News of the Area reported that Councillor Rachel Shepherd left the chamber before the matter was discussed, having declared a pecuniary interest in the matter. She told the meeting she'd received advice to not take part, as the item could give rise to a potential legal proceeding. Mayor Adam Roberts praised the leadership of Dr Allen, highlighting her role in shaping a progressive, community-focused council. Dr Allen confirmed she plans to remain a resident of the region while pursuing new opportunities. A Tamworth councillor has been disciplined over controversial social media comments comparing council staff to Nazi Germany's propaganda ministry, according to a report from the Northern Daily Leader. Councillor Mark Rodder was censured after comments on his Facebook page last year, which drew parallels between the council's communications team and Hitler's Ministry of Public Enlightenment and Propaganda. The matter was reviewed by an independent investigator before being discussed in a closed council session on Tuesday night. Mayor Russell Webb says the council voted unanimously to censure Councillor Rodder and refer the matter to the Office of Local Government for further consideration. The state body could impose penalties ranging from counselling to a 3-month suspension. Councillor Rodder said the decision is unlikely to have a significant impact on his social media activity. He said he's more concerned about the cost incurred in investigating the complaint against him. Federation Council has conducted pop-up engagement sessions across multiple locations to discuss its special rate variation application. Mayor Cheryl Cook expressed gratitude for the community participation. She said their feedback is invaluable. Residents used a general rates estimator to gain a clearer understanding of the potential impact of the proposed SRV. The Corowa Free Press reported on one forum that attracted almost 100 people and spoke to some who felt the engagement was minimalistic. The council is offering one-on-one meetings with its CFO for those who couldn't attend the sessions. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has committed $1 billion towards securing land corridors for a rail connection between Bradfield, Macarthur and Leppington to link the Macarthur region with Western Sydney Airport. Response from Macarthur Region Councils has been swift. Wallandilly Council has welcomed the announcement as a positive step towards addressing infrastructure needs in the rapidly growing region. Campbelltown Council said the crucial rail corridor was a result of sustained advocacy from it and other local communities, while Camden Council also welcomed the news, emphasising the need for additional funding to complete the project's construction. Glen Innes Severn Council has approved the sale of land to New England CT Proprietary Limited for the establishment of a state-of-the-art CT scanning facility and healthcare worker accommodation. Mayor Margot Davis said the project represents one of the most significant steps forward for healthcare services in recent years for the region. And Sydney's Bayside Council will seek an extension of funding from the New South Wales Government for the Safer Cities Her Ways program, which has improved safety features like lighting near transport hubs in Mascot and Rockdale. The council received a $1 million grant in 2023 to deliver pilot projects over 2 years, and consultation has identified additional areas that could benefit from similar safety improvements. Now to Queensland, and Brisbane's Lord Mayor Adrian Schrinner has announced plans to evict homeless people from city parks with 24 hours notice. ABC News reported his concerns about an influx of campers from neighbouring Moreton Bay, where homeless camping was recently criminalised. Homeless support organisations dispute the Mayor's claim that most of the campers have refused accommodation offers and point to a lack of permanent housing solutions and the closure of multiple housing facilities in southeast Queensland. The Queensland Government and the Local Government Association of Queensland have signed a new 3-year Equal Partners in Government agreement, which reaffirms their commitment to working together to deliver better outcomes for Queenslanders. It was signed this week by Premier David Crisafulli, Local Government Minister Anne Lay, LGAQ President Mayor Matt Burnett and LGAQ CEO Alison Smith. Aims of the agreement include the reduction of red tape and establishing a relationship of mutual respect between state and local governments. Ex-tropical cyclone Alfred has caused severe erosion on Gold Coast beaches, washing away approximately 2,000 Olympic swimming pools worth of sand and leaving sand cliffs of up to 6 metres tall. ABC News reported that Gold Coast City Council is working to restore the beaches by Easter through various methods, including rainbow-style dredging and sand dune reshaping. Officials are confident that they can meet the deadline. And Redland Council has urged motorists to drive carefully and be mindful of road conditions as workers are conducting clean-up operations after XTC Alfred. The council is managing road hazards, including fallen trees, debris and potholes, with some roads closed and traffic signals affected by power outages. Green waste curbside collections will commence next week, with priority at the moment being given to disaster-related waste from inside and immediately outside homes. More news in brief for you. Tamworth Council will continue supporting the Kirby Soft Plastics Recycling Program, by purchasing 10,000 special bags to help residents participate in the Now Permanent initiative. Since the trial began in December 2022, the program has successfully diverted over 21.3 tonnes of material from landfill. And a postal by-election for a councillor position at Queensland's Hepburn Shire Council will be held on April the 5th, following the death of Councillor Kevin Davies. The election will be conducted entirely by postal vote to reduce costs, with residents needing to update their details by March 17 and return completed ballots by April 15. To Tasmania, and Hobart City Council has rejected a controversial proposal for a zip line on Kunanyi Mount Wellington following significant community opposition. The Mercury reported that the proposed 1.3 kilometre attraction would have been the longest of its kind in the Asia-Pacific region, featuring a 25-metre launch tower near the Springs. Despite council officers recommending approval, elected members voted against the project at this week's Planning Authority Committee meeting. The decision follows more than 800 public submissions, with concerns ranging from environmental impacts to noise issues. The Tasmanian Aboriginal Centre also opposed the development, with campaign manager Nala Mansell expressing frustration over ongoing threats to Aboriginal heritage. A charity's innovative solution to homelessness in northern Tasmania has hit a roadblock, with Strike It Out forced to sell its custom-built sleeping pod trailers. The $160,000 project, funded through public donations, included 7 sleeping pods equipped with solar power and security features. The charity's founder, Kirsten Ritchie, told ABC News that ongoing disputes with Launceston City Council over land use have left them with no choice but to sell the unused facilities. The council maintains proper documentation wasn't provided and cites safety and liability concerns. Launceston's homelessness rate is significantly higher than the national average at 67 per 10,000 people. Adelaide City Council is pushing for a 6-month trial of 50-cent public transport fares, following the successful implementation of a similar scheme in Queensland, which saw an 18.3% increase in patronage. In Daily reported that most of the councillors support the initiative aimed at reducing congestion and cost of living pressures. But the final decision rests with the state government, which has previously expressed resistance to making public transport free. And adoption of a new whistleblower policy put before the Western Australian Council of Halls Creek Shire has been deferred after councillors couldn't agree on a way forward at their latest meeting. The policy was recommended for adoption by officers, but 2 councillors expressed concerns about confidentiality and access. The dispute resulted in a lack of a quorum, and the item will be reviewed and brought back to the council at a later date. Now for a selection of stories from around the globe in our global roundup. Starting in the UK, the District Council's network there has expressed concerns about the government's new planning and infrastructure bill, particularly criticising its reduction of local democratic oversight. Planning spokesperson Councillor Richard Wright has acknowledged some positive measures in the bill, like strategic planning reforms and local fee-setting powers. But the DCN argues that the core issue isn't planning permission delays, but rather the non-implementation of existing permissions, with 1.1 million approved homes remaining unbuilt. The group is calling for stronger powers to address stalled development sites. Birmingham City Council has voted against launching an independent inquiry into what's being called a catastrophic IT project failure, according to a report today from the Register. The implementation of an Oracle business management system has left the council unable to properly manage its finances, with costs spiralling to £130 million, more than 6 times the original estimate. The project, which began as a replacement for an ageing SAP system, has been described as effectively crippling the council's financial capabilities. Despite concerns raised by opposition councillors and a damning external audit, council leadership maintains that existing government-appointed commissioners will investigate the matter as part of a broader inquiry into the council's financial difficulties. Now to the US and the state of Washington, where Battleground City Council has joined other Clark County cities like Camas in formally opposing a proposal to put light rail on a planned Interstate 5 replacement bridge. The council voted 4-3 against the light rail expansion. The $5 to $7.5 billion bridge project currently includes plans for a 1.9-mile light rail extension with new stations on Hayden Island and in downtown Vancouver. Project officials warn that changing the plans could jeopardise funding and cause significant delays. The opposition centres around concerns about the $2 billion installation cost and $21 million in annual maintenance costs for light rail, according to a report from The Columbian. Political tensions are on the rise in Skagway, Alaska, where Mayor Sam Bass has sparked controversy by refusing to sign official borough assembly correspondence. KTOO News reported that the letters in question addressed crucial issues, including proposed Canadian tariffs and recent federal personnel changes affecting the community. Two former mayors, Tim Borsey and Andrew Cremata, have strongly criticised Bass's decision, suggesting the action could warrant censure. For his part, the mayor says he believes assembly and mayoral correspondence should be handled separately. The letters have been sent with the borough clerk's signature in place of the mayor's, and the borough attorney is reviewing the procedure. Here's a story from Fiji, which I think is a roundup first. Suva City Council is facing significant challenges, including governance issues, homelessness and financial mismanagement, according to their latest annual reports review. FBC News reported that key concerns include unpaid rates and a lack of municipal elections since 2005. In response, the government is implementing various measures, including internal audits, plans for a rehabilitation centre, infrastructure improvements, and it's allocated $1.5 million for upcoming municipal elections. And let's end our journey in New Zealand, where the local government minister Simon Watts is considering further intervention options for Wellington's councils after they missed a deadline for city regional deal proposals and amid concerns about Wellington Water's performance. Radio New Zealand reported that Prime Minister Christopher Luxon criticised the councils for missing the deadline. Regional Council Chairperson Darren Ponter defended the decision, saying they needed more time to avoid rushing a proposal. The latest development follows the appointment of a Crown Observer in October, who reported in January that organisational issues have caused significant disruption to council operations. And Fiona McTavish has been reappointed as Chief Executive of Toimoana Bay of Plenty Regional Council for a 5-year term starting July 1st. Ms McTavish has been in the role for 7 years and came through a competitive recruitment process to retain the position. Toimoana Chair Doug Leader praised McTavish's vision and leadership, noting her experience will be valuable in navigating upcoming local elections and government policy changes. And that's our edition of the Local Government News Roundup for Friday the 14th of March 2025, edition number 439. If you have comments or feedback or story tips, you can email me at lgweeklynews@gmail.com and find out more about this episode, including links to the stories referenced at lgnewsroundup.com. The podcast is brought to you by the Victorian Local Governance Association, the national broadcaster on all things local government, with support from Symphony 3, simple, connected customer experiences. Thanks to the many of you who help make the podcast possible by supporting us through a monthly subscription. Support starts at $3 per month, around $5 Australian, and you can cancel your subscription at any time. Details on the website or in your podcast player. The Roundup is recorded in the city of Greater Geelong, Victoria, on the land of the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation. Until next time, thanks for listening and bye for now. A councillor's commitment to community doesn't stop when their time as an elected representative ends. In recognition of this and to strengthen its ongoing support for former councillors, the VLGA has launched an alumni program open to anyone who has held an elected position in local government. By becoming a VLGA alumnus, former councillors will have access to VLGA programs and special alumni networking events, as well as the opportunity to participate in forums and share key learnings and insights to inform sector advocacy. You'll be kept up to date on local government news and be able to participate in VLGA events and professional development opportunities at a special VLGA alumni member rate. To find out more about this exciting opportunity, visit www.vlga.org.au.